Today's show is brought to you by locally owned and operated Highland Rim Speedway. Visit their website at highlandrim.com.
Talkapolis, the social media TV network for your city.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Pit Pass. Joe Williams and Larry Woody, and we talk about racing here, all types, on Pit Pass. That's how you get into the pits. You got to have a pad.
Yep.
Larry can get one anywhere. Maybe not so much. But I did get one Saturday, Larry. Got to go up to Highland Rim Speedway up in Ridgetop where the Southern Superstars came to town. And I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of races in a lot of places, but this one was pretty much, I'd call spectacular.
Fast cars on a small track.
On a small track. Started 21 cars in this thing. And quite frankly, Larry, interesting change, some interesting race procedures in that it was a 100-lap race.
Yeah.
Cautions counted up to 5. Once they ran 5 caution laps, they froze the lap count. The real interesting thing was you could not go a lap down under caution. They were just kind of cranking the leaders' numbers out there. So you come in pits, and I understand why. They're trying to keep costs down so you don't have to have a full pit crew to come and all this. But let me tell you, it may have been one of the most outstanding races I have seen. 2 guys took off at the front, Mark Day and Davey Coble. Justin Ashburn sat on the pole, had some trouble middle of the race. But by 80 laps, Larry, on this quarter-mile racetrack, Mark Day and Davey Coble had lapped the field under green.
That's 2 pretty good local racers, Day and Coble.
Oh, and you talk about just slicing and putting on a clinic on how to pass inside and outside on a quarter-mile racetrack. Long story short, we get down to the last 7, 8 laps or so. The requirement that the Southern All-Stars has is that the last 10 laps have to be run under green flag conditions. And it was every corner, there was contact. And nobody put anybody in a wall or anything like that, but they moved each other. Day moved Coble, Coble moved Day. It was a lot of fun to watch. You kind of wondered when the temperature was going to go over. Long story short, Coble wound up spinning down in 1 and 2. Seen a couple of angles. Maybe there was contact, maybe there wasn't. That's not for me to decide, but Coble spun. Long story short, Day wins the race, and Chase Oliver out of Huntsville is second. Davey Coble winds up third. Larry, controversy is the crowd was split half and half. I mean, it was a great crowd. They were on their feet the last 10 laps between Coble and Day, the 2 local favorites. And victory for Mark Day. He's a 3-time defending champion in this particular group. He's the current points leader. A little controversy with the victory.
And nothing wrong with that. You know, the crowd's supposed to be on its feet at the end of a race, and one guy winning, and the guy who didn't win is supposed to be upset. Darlington could have used some of that the other day. I've said before, Joe, I think Mark Day is the most talented driver to come through the old Fairground Speedway, through Middle Tennessee racing, not to have got a big-time career of anybody I've seen. He has the talent, and I've asked Mark about this, and he said, well, he sort of missed his chance back when he was younger and had some opportunities. He was content to race on this level, and he said, looking back, some regrets that he didn't maybe try a little harder to move up. But again, Mark Day has the talent. He could have done it if he had really wanted to, and as he'd said if he had pushed it a little harder. But no, I'm not surprised. Anytime they have a race around here and Mark Day wins, that's not it's not an upset.
Surprise to you?
No, it's not an upset when Mark wins one. And like you said, Joe, it's not an upset when there might be just a little controversy around it. And again, nothing wrong with that. Like Darryl used to say, it's stirring the pot, and racing can use its pot stirred once in a while. Again, going back to the snoozer at Darlington Saturday night, they could have used a little Mark Day pot stirring over there. Congratulations to Mark. He's a good, tough driver, and again, it's not an upset when Mark Day wins a race.
Proud of both of them. After the race was over, Davey communicated he was not extremely happy. But both of the guys, they did what they were supposed to do. They went to victory lane. They had all, the top three were all together.
And if it had been flip-flopped, if Coble had been in victory lane and Mark had been spun out in the infield, he would have been happy either. So as Bobby Allison said, the second place driver is just the first loser to cross the finish line. So they're not supposed to be happy when they lose.
That's proud of both of them. Kept their calm, kept their cool.
I never liked somebody who said they were tickled to finish second.
Yeah, it's hard to say that, isn't it?
That's not exactly the point of racing all night to be content with. Some of the Cup guys might take some lessons from that.
I don't know. I think so. Yeah, we'll get to that here in a minute. But only scheduled appearance for the Southern Superstars this year, although I think the Rim may be on tap to add a couple. I think they've got some, the Southern All-Stars have some open dates that they may try to fill as they move across the Southeast. The other big race, there were a couple of big races, but the other one that really drew my attention, the Tuners. Wow, what a race. They went out.
The who?
Tuner division. Tuners, Tuners. The Tuners, where Zena Jenkins, despite damage to the front end, she got caught up in an accident, came back from the back, and Granny won again. She was one of our guests last week. Out at the batter's box, and
you didn't call her Granny, I hope.
She is trying to. I think she's put a hold on the website gogranny.com. Actually,
I thought she preferred Xena the Warrior Princess.
Well, there's also that
to the racing Granny.
There's also
my old paper had a great feature on her a while back.
That's right.
She's a character and a good racer too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Toby, the old man Tobit, who had been trailing her in points and trying to stay with her. Really, car cosmetically was not hurt, but boy, the whole rear end was knocked out of that thing. He got caught up in the same accident, wound up pinched in the wall. So, one of those things, Larry. The Rim's always a lot of fun. They're off this weekend, but they'll be back the 25th, March 25th. They go back to racing. And
put on a heck of a show, again, not to beat Darlington to death, but how many times have fans left Highland Rim and said, man, what a boring race that was? I'll bet not many.
I can guarantee you not many this year.
I don't
that
think
hadn't
so.
happened this year
I don't
yet.
think so. They put on a show at the Rim.
Yeah.
A small place and a lot of fast cars going in a hurry.
Yeah. We close out today with our weekly Mingus watch. Mason Mingus, second in the ARCA Point Series, Larry, was tied with the ageless veteran, Frank Kimmel, who is still racing.
Yep.
They go to Toledo this weekend, which will be the 18th. Mason went up and did a little testing earlier and feels very good about this one. They went to Toledo last year, and he said, kind of. They had a little practice session the other day, and he's feeling a whole lot better about Toledo. So we'll check back next time and keep the Mason Mingus watch going.
18-year-old from Brentwood, and I think he's the next superstar from Middle Tennessee.
Could very well be.
No.
Could very well be. But we'll see what happens. I'd like to see him have a good. Toledo's kind of his sort of racetrack. It's a little bit more like Nashville, where he's run before.
That's such a great kid, as you know, Joe. He's not just a great racer, but he's a talented racer. Just a really good kid.
Yeah. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Pit Pass, Larry. As always, an honor to sit next to you.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, probably real soon.
Yeah.
We'll do it real soon. Thank you so much for joining us. For Larry Woody, I'm Joe Williams. We'll see you next time on Pit Pass.